The next time you see an MGM picture like, say, The Toy Wife, with Louise Reiner, Melvin Douglas, and Robert Young, that's me.
Or Three Comrades with Margaret Sullivan, Frank O'Tone, Robert Young, and Robert Taylor, that's me. You will probably be unaware that the musical background is contributing more than its share towards making you laugh or cry.
This musical background is known as a score.
Right, and it is carefully planned and worked out to fit every scene and mood of the picture.
The man responsible for the music in our MGM pictures is with us tonight. He is a great musical director, a renowned composer, and a superb arranger whose musicianship is second only to his extreme modesty. Must be Morgan fooling around back there. I'm glad to introduce this fine artist to you now. My friend, ladies and gentlemen...
Red.
It's Morgan again. You take it, Young.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. That is probably the finest thumbnail description of the real Morgan you've ever given me.
Frank, that introduction wasn't for you.
It wasn't for... Well, who else could you be referring to than that old master of harmony, counterpoint, and arranging, Frank Morgan, S.I.G.?
S.I.G.?
Yeah, swing it gate. Oh, solid Tootie.
Now,
yeah,
wait a
man,
minute.
the stuff is here to
Wait a minute.
I'm a solid sender.
Wait a minute. Calloway.
I've got one.
Yes. I'm Frank, to introduce the man who arranges and directs the musical scores for our pictures.
Oh, well, that's quite unnecessary, Bob. I think these people all know me. It's all right.
Frank, if you do all the musical directing and scoring of these pictures, why does it always say on the screen, music under direction of Nat Finston?
Nat Finston. Oh, yes. Well, that's my nom de noti. I can't let people know I do all the work around the studio. Did you notice how clean your dressing room was this morning? Well, I'm the janitor, too.
All right, genius. Just wait a second. Oh, Nat.
Yes, Bob?
I want you to meet the man who's in charge of all the music for MGM pictures. Frank Morgan, Nat Finston.
Well, I'm glad to know you, Mr. Morgan. I mean, what? Who'd you say this man is?
Listen, you faker, this is the real Nat Finston, head of our music department.
Oh, yes. Well, I'll see you later, Bob. I've got a lot of things to do. I've got to send my car to be pressed and drive my suit home. I've got so long.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You stay right here. Nat, Frank here's been trying to tell us he directs music under the name of Nat Finston.
Well, you must be suffering from a touch of the sun, my impudent young iconoclast. Well, there you are. They write it. I merely said that Mr. Finston's orchestras are as fine as any ever directed by Frank Morgan.
Listen here, you unmitigated prevaricator.
Now, Bob, watch your language. That's no way to talk to Mr. Finston.
Who's talking to Mr. Finston?
I am. Mr. Finston, I hope you'll forgive our quick-tongued young clothes horse here. It's only another musical director like myself who can appreciate the artistry behind the score.
I wasn't aware that you were a conductor, Mr. Morgan.
Well, of course. 5 years with the Municipal Streetcar Company. Oh, you mean orchestra conductor?
Yes, maestro. That's what he means.
Let's see, Frank Morgan, orchestra conductor? That
yes.
name doesn't seem to have a familiar ring.
Well, small wonder, my dear Finston, but you see, the name is Frankovich Morgansky. Does that mean anything to you?
No, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, you never heard of Frankovich Morgansky, idol of every music lover on the continent, the toast of Russia?
They should have scraped you.
Mr. Young, I'll trouble you to remember that you are addressing the former orchestra leader to His Imperial Majesty Nikolai, Tsar of all the Russias and musical advisor extraordinaire to the Imperial Ballet at Moscow.
Uh-oh, we're off key again, Steve.
Why, when I would saunter along the streets of music-loving Petrograd, the peasants would bow their heads in reverence. Even the bourgeois were wont to whisper, "There he goes, Nov Schmaz Kapap."
It must be very gratifying for a musician to receive such acclaim, Mr. Morgan.
Mr. Finston, it would have done your musical heart good had you been there that day in Minsk by the sea. With my band of roving balalaika strummers, we were playing a command performance at the famous Caviar Festival for Her Royal Highness the Princess Catherine Dmitrieff Zabisco. Oh, what a thrill. As we swung into the last 8 bars of that tender Russian lullaby by Mir Bistushevich. As one man, 10,000 Cossacks hooted and huzzaed. Did I say hooted? It was a glorious triumph. Even the Tsar's children, the little Tsardines, waved their tiny red...
Oh, inspiring, Mr. Morgansky.
Yes, just call me Frankovich, comrade.
Listen, Frankovich, why don't you stop all this foolishness? You don't know anything about music.
That, my friend, is naught but the babbling of a person in the midst of an imbroglio. That just means a dope to you. Why, I know more about music in 1 minute than Meredith Wilson knows in 24 bars of Tacit. And that's only one man's opinion.
All right, Tchaikovsky, I don't want to argue with you now. Just be quiet a minute. I want to talk to a man who really knows something about music.
Well, I'll be glad to tell you anything.
Quiet. Oh. Nat, I understand that in Norma Shearer's new picture, Marie Antoinette, you used a lot of very old and rare instruments to obtain special effects.
Yes, among them we used a harpsichord, a viola d'amore, and a clavicembalo.
What? You got who?
A clavicembalo, a sort of combination cello and guitar.
Yes, that reminds me of a very rare instrument my grandfather invented. The confuticum.
Confuticum? I don't believe I ever heard of that one.
Yes, it's also a combination instrument, sort of a cross between a tuba, a kettle drum, and a lemon squeezer. A very difficult instrument to master. Practically impossible for a human being to play.
But you can play it.
Oh, Bob, now, of course, I don't make it silly.
Tell me more about the confuticum, Mr. Morgan. It interests me. What is it like?
Well, it's got one of those, it's beautifully curved, like a Cupid's bow. When you play it, you hold your lips like this. Oh, it's lovely. Like the sighing of a breeze in the full moon.
Frank, do you expect anybody to believe all those crazy things?
Bob, you're just prejudiced, and I wish you wouldn't interrupt me. Well, where was I?
You were saying about a beautifully curved lips sighing the moon.
Yes, lips to sign the moon. Yes, that's right. I took her in my arms and kissed her. Oh, well, so long, boys. I'll see you later. I've got a date with a lady violin player, and I don't want to be late for rehearsal.
You know, Nat Finston, someday the man in charge of the electric chair at the penitentiary is going to be a guest here. And if Morgan starts telling about how he gave up his seat to a lady, that'll be the last straw. Well, thank you, Nat, for dropping in on us.
It was a pleasure, Bob. So long.
Now our friend Doug McPhail sings, Here Comes the Sun.
Wake with the buttercup, come on, get up, here comes the sun. Open your sleepy eyes, look at the flaming skies, here comes the sun. Turn your back on the night, morning's cheerful and bright, not a shadow in your way, this day is your day. Wake with the singing birds, shout out those lucky words, here comes the sun. Lovers are hand in hand, this is the promised land, daydreams are spun. Laugh, your sorrow is over, and half the battle is won. Life's no gloomy race, light your happy face, here comes the sun. Dawn is breaking, and a new day is born. The world is singing the song of the dawn. Birds are waking, hear them where comes the morn. They're sweetly singing the song of the dawn. Yesterday the skies were gray, look, this morning they're blue. The smiling sun tells everyone, come and start life anew. Sing hallelujah, for the dark night is gone. Wake with a buttercup, come on, get up. Daylight is dawning, come on and get up. Life's no gloomy race, light your happy face.